Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I loved it. My name's Jay Milne. #Blue. Our sports update deliverer. The Coon.
I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up today.
You know what, Reid? You might be honest.
All right, here's what's going on in the nest.
Welcome back to the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. And as you can see, we have a very special in-studio guest. Welcome to the show, Mr. Jed Roberts.
Yeah, I'm just filling in. Got some big shoes to fill. I'm just kind of, trying to provide some levity to your intelligence.
Wow, you're getting yourself ready for word of the day, which will come up later in the show. I've instructed Zachary Kubish to supply the words today. So he's going to test our knowledge, our vocabulary, I guess you can say. So that's going to be fun. Look, as I mentioned earlier today, prior to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show, Jed and I are here to talk Grey Cup. Talk about the biggest day in the CFL, and we're going to get right to it. But I must remind you that we are coming to you live from the Canadian Brewhouse studio, where Fired Up Fridays are here. Prime rib all day from $20.99, tankards of Coors, plus tankards of Coors for only $9.99, and killer deals on White Claw and Olay, only at the Canadian Brewhouse. If you have a question for Mr. Jed Roberts, please fire it off to the afternoon inbox, which is presented by River Cree Resort and Casino. Happy hour featuring $5.25 drinks, available to Sunday to Thursday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Jed, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm just still thinking about that Grey Cup game. It was quite the game yesterday. It was fun to watch. Lots of back and forth there. I was a little bit worried in the first half when it was, seemed to be kind of one-sided there for the Green Riders, but the second half, man, sure didn't disappoint. So it was one of the better comebacks I've seen in the last few years.
Yeah, it was an entertaining game.
Yeah.
I mean, for most people here, I mean, I know there's Riderville doesn't sleep. They go across Canada, but for your traditional Elks fans, you just wanted to see a good game, and I believe it delivered. I will say this: we will keep tabs on the Oilers game. We've got it on here. So if you're driving home, if you're stuck in traffic and you're listening, first of all, thank you for tuning in. Secondly, we'll keep you posted if anything happens of significance in the Oilers game. And if you are watching on YouTube, I know the stream got a little disconnected there, but we're back. We're here. We're live. Hammer that thumbs up for us. Let us know you're there. Send in anything you want to Jed. You can send that in on the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. But let's get right into it. It's time to get fired up for Gemco Fireplaces, who have been proudly serving Edmonton and area for 45 years and are the authorized dealer for Napoleon fireplaces. Whether it's gas or wood burning, look no further than Canadian-made Napoleon fireplaces. All the Napoleon products you need are available at Gemco, 9281 50th Street. Jed, I'm fired up about the Grey Cup, and I'm fired up specifically about what was probably I guess the biggest muscle debate I've ever heard and heard talked about leading up to a Grey Cup game, and that was the hamstring of Davis Alexander. That was the most publicized hamstring leading up to that game throughout the playoffs, really. What were your thoughts on the play of Davis Alexander?
You and I were talking before the show there about, like, we've both had our struggles with hamstring issues as in our playing careers, and I'm just dead in awe at the fact that Alexander, A, even played the game, and B, played as well as he did with the severity of the injury that he had. I know that he had a grade 3 tear earlier in the year, which is right up there with tearing it off the bone, and then he was able to come back from that, but then he irritated it. And hamstrings are a tricky thing, And I don't know too many people that can play through something like that. And the fact that he was able to finish the game and play as well as he did, I know it impacted the way he was. He wasn't as elusive as I think he can be. I think that when he's at 100%, there's nobody like him. There's nobody in the league that can scramble like him.
So talk me through that, because I had my hamstring struggles, but Jed, I didn't play professional football. It wasn't my career. Talk about why this, seeing what he went through, knowing what the pain he felt when he did tweak that and what he was dealing with. Speak to that from a personal level through your playing time and what you think the future holds for Davis Alexander.
Yeah, I think that you're in that mindset that it's for all the marbles and there's really nothing that's going to take you out of the game. And I think that when you're a professional athlete and you're in that type of an environment, I think that sometimes you just make decisions that are, could be potentially down the road impact your quality of life. Like an injury like that just doesn't sort itself out. I think the only alternative for a grade 3 tear is surgery, and I don't know if that's down the pike for him. And I know he's got a busy offseason to try to rehab that. I played with guys that had that similar type of injury that never played again.
Right.
So that's something that I think people should probably watch out for him. It's going to be something that will probably be reoccurring, and I don't know. It depends on the type of rehab he gets, the type of care he gets access to. The technology is incredible now. The things they can do now with medical technology is not the same as it was 35 years ago when I was going through my issues. But it's sure, when you're watching the game, you can really tell that he has a pocket presence that's incredible. Like he's able to step up and evade the rush, and he can run. The only guy I think that probably runs better than him is Trey Ford. But he's a bigger physical guy. You can't arm tackle him, and I think the fact that he also can throw the ball really far and throws the ball really well on the run. And I think that particularly on the long throws that he got picked off on, you could really see that he didn't quite have that zip. But nonetheless, he was still able to manufacture. I mean, he came within maybe 6 inches of his backup quarterback fumbling on the goal line and winning the game. I really believe that.
Well, and we will get to that play by Shea Patterson most certainly, because I have some things to say about that as well. Look, Davis Alexander, for several of the Alouettes games, was their leading rusher.
Yeah.
They run an offense based around that.
Yeah.
Could be called an RPO, a run pass option. It could be called Sally. There's different names for it, but essentially, as the quarterback, if you don't you go through your first, second progression, and if you see something open up or you see them in man and a linebacker's gone, well, you're running.
Yep. And
that component of the Alouettes game simply was not there. I mean, Davis Alexander had 2 rushes for 14 yards, which under normal circumstances, a healthy Davis Alexander probably would have had 3, 4, 5 times that. So how much do you think that affected and limited their offense?
I mean, I don't think I can say it any better than you just did, and I think of the 2 carries, I think 14 came on 1. And that was right at the end of the game there where he bought himself some time. And you're right. When he's able to run full speed, it really creates a nightmare for defenses because you have to dedicate a spy, and that takes one guy out of coverage. And then there's all that much more space for his receivers to operate. I thought it was kind of interesting that he wasn't able to get his favorite target there going until the very end of the game. So I think Saskatchewan did a pretty good job of limiting his looks, particularly with this deep ball. Like they did a really good job of daring him to throw, and when he dared to throw, they picked it off. I thought it was a great game in terms of Canadian talent. You saw the big matchup there on the wideout there with Philpott. And I can't remember the other kid's name there from Saskatchewan, number 38. Kevin, can't remember his last name. But anyway, that was a great matchup. They were going back and forth. Philpott won a few, then the Saskatchewan guy won a few. Wallet was on fire. Those jump cuts he was making, that offensive line for Saskatchewan is generally regarded as the best in the league. And they showed that why last night. But I also think that Montreal was really missing Oakman inside in the interior there. If he's in there, I don't think they run the ball quite as effectively because that's a 6'9", 300-pound man, right? So that's a big boy. So nothing against his backup, but I think that they were limited a little bit in the interior there, and I think that Saskatchewan did a good job of taking what Montreal gave them.
Trevor Harris.
Yep.
record-breaking performance. Did that surprise you, or was that what you were expecting?
Yeah, it did. I wasn't expecting Trevor to take over the game the way he did, and I'll explain. If you look at his stats, his completion percentage was off the charts. I think he set a record.
Yeah, 85.2. That's a great
Cup record. It wasn't by him playing safe either. He was pushing the ball downfield. He made some incredible throws. He had some timing routes that were, he just really took the game over, and I think the guys in Saskatchewan, the players played, those guys like Wallet was certainly a factor in terms of running the ball, but more surprising to me was that Trevor actually played like he was probably 25 years old last night. Like he turned back the clock. He had some accuracy and some zip on the ball. He found his guys when he needed to find them, and hats off to him. They really that was a great game and good effort by that Saskatchewan Roughriders offense. I mean,
23 of 27, 302 yards. Didn't throw for a touchdown. I mean, but you get down around that area.
Yep.
They have a big boy themselves in Tommy Stevens that can come in and get the ball over the line. We're going to get more into the thoughts of Jed and myself on the Grey Cup game. We have to keep going with our Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. So to remind you, I've given out 2 clues already. Almost 3 minutes gone here in the Oilers game. They came out within the first 10 seconds, and Zach Hyman had a grade A scoring opportunity, but it's still knotted up at 0. So the first clue for the Hudson's Mystery Athlete of the Game was 5th round. Second clue, Ducks. Okay. The third clue, this is going to throw everybody into a tailspin, is former Eskimo. Yes, I said that right. So, Koob, if you could update the chat with all 3 of the clues, if you could, just for people that weren't listening earlier. 5th round, Ducks, and former Eskimo. Send that into the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox at 780-218-9999. I know Jed certainly gave me a side eye when I went to the former Eskimo angle of that. But see if you can figure it out. I think if you think about events that have recently happened and some of the clues I've given, maybe you can come up with it. Okay, let's get into this, Jed. The halftime show. We talked about it earlier. It was the off-topic topic, and it is the off-topic topic for William Huff. Machine Gun Kelly, MGK, share with us your thoughts. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you indifferent? Send those into 780-218-9999. Jed, what did you think of MGK?
I thought he did a pretty good job. I wasn't familiar with his newer catalog. I was kind of into him when he first kind of broke into the musical scene. There's a rapper, and again, I liked his older stuff. And then I really enjoyed what he did in the Motley Crue biopic. I thought he stole the show as Tommy Lee.
He was fantastic.
He was awesome.
Yes.
So
The Dirt.
Yeah, and you know what? I watched the whole thing, and it was really good. I thought he entertained the audience. He did a good job, kind of kept everybody going, and it's no mean feat to come up here in Canada and perform outdoors. He did all of that and then some, and I thought he got the cheerleaders into it, and the fans seemed to like it. So I think hats off to him. I think he did a good job.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I didn't know. So you said you were into him before when he was a rapper.
Yep.
Do tell. So, because I did hear that at one point he was beefing with Eminem or something, and I think Eminem kind of crumpled him up like a piece of paper and threw him to the side. But so is rap stuff? Is rap stuff as good? Or
it wasn't too bad. I thought Eminem kind of shut him down with his kill shot. Okay. But I mean, MGK kind of bit off more than you could chew, and he was talking about Eminem's daughter. So I'm familiar with that beef. And yeah, you're right. Eminem took him down. And I think he probably had no choice but to branch out into another area of music after that. But yeah, I think he did a good job. And I was telling you before the show there, the late Tim Hague, the MMA fighter that hailed from Edmonton, back when Machine Gun Kelly was rapping, he was in town doing a show, and I think this was in the mid-2010s. And Tim took him up to Boyle and went out on the snowmobiles and had him out there all day long, skidooing out by Skeleton Lake there. And
really,
and Tim said that Machine Gun Kelly was just an awesome guy, and that they're salt of the earth, and all he wanted to do was get out on the. They had they had it all set up so that they could have beer and all that. He didn't even want to do that. He just wanted to get out on the land and feel the wind in his toque. And they spent the whole day skidooing, and then they took him to the airport and saw him off, and he said it's one of the best experiences he's ever had. So
unbelievable.
Great story by Tim Hague.
Yeah, there you have it. I mean, MGK was sledding on the lake of Skeleton before he took the stage in Winnipeg last night. We're going to get into Shea Patterson, obviously, the fumble. We're going to do that after the break. I also want to ask you a specific question about the CFL in reference to something I'm sure you've heard your entire playing career, after your playing career as an alumni, about the CFL. And we're going to talk about some things that came up earlier in Grey Cup week with Commissioner Stuart Johnston speaking. But first, Coob, we've got a winner. We do. Oh, you were clapping for that. I thought you were clapping for Jed's epic
well, I always
MGK
am.
story.
Yeah. No, it's for both. That is a fantastic story, actually. Like you get a perception of somebody when you see them through the television, but to actually meet them and for him to have that experience, right? To go on the skidoo and, experience a little bit of Canada.
Canada, yes.
Yes. Canadiana is what I meant to say, yeah. But we got a winner.
So, Rob from the Grove, congratulations. So, first clue, 5th round. This mystery athlete was drafted in the 5th round. I think it was 2013, if I'm recalling correctly, by the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Second clue, Ducks.
Yep.
His brother,
yeah,
played for the Anaheim Ducks. Former Eskimo player, played for a season in 2016 and was later released in 2017. Clue number 4 would have been 2-time Grey Cup champion. Jed, who am I talking about?
Oh, my Getzlaff.
Chris Getzlaff.
Great receiver in college, too.
Yes, he was at University of Regina.
Yep.
He played for the Regina, it used to be the Prairie Thunder.
Yep.
He played, they're now called the Regina Thunder, then went to the Rams. A little bit of a hometown hero, I would say. And he was the 2013 Grey Cup most valuable Canadian. So that was 101st Grey Cup. So that was the tie-in for those that didn't know. Yesterday's most outstanding Canadian was Emilus, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Former guest of the Reid Wilkins show, I'll have you know.
Awesome.
So there you go. Okay, we are going to let Coob take over, and then we are going to be back with buying or selling for Damon Bunting real estate. I'm going to ask you specifically, Jed, why the heck do they keep giving the ball to backup quarterbacks when they're down by the goal line? Because I got problems with it. We'll see what Jed has to say. But first, we got to hear from the Coob.
The Oilers and Sabres are underway in the first. About 8 minutes into action, it's scoreless. The Oilers leading in shots 2-0. Well, on the penalty kill, about 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the Oilers kill. 2 other games are live. The Canucks and Panthers scoreless midway through the first, while early in the opening frame, the Hurricanes and Bruins are tied at 0s. We also have the Capitals up 1-0. Matt Waugh scoring for Washington. They lead the Kings. After that, the Canadiens and Blue Jackets clash, while the Mammoth and Ducks drop the puck. In the CFL, the Bombers have re-upped general manager Kyle Walters and head coach Mike O'Shea, each to 3-year extensions. NFL news: Jamar Chase has been suspended 1 game without pay after spitting on Jalen Ramsey of the Steelers yesterday. Monday Night Football, it's the Cowboys and Raiders kicking off. Join Lieutenant Eric for the action down at Sally Sports Bar and Lounge at Century Casino on Fort Road. And in San Antonio, Victor Wembanyama is expected to miss a few weeks with a calf strain, according to ESPN's Shams Charania. The Raptors, they play tonight. They face the Hornets at 5:30. 3 games underway right now, including the Clippers up 17-7 over the 76ers midway through the first. More with Jed Roberts on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
I mean, just as far as putting on the show, the people that set up the Grey Cup Festival, can't say enough about them. And then, as I tweeted out last night, all of that was fantastic. Now it's time to crown a champion. We got a pretty wild football game that had some big time, all-time Grey Cup moments.
Yeah.
I think a worthy champion and obviously a great story with your guy, Trevor Harris.
The Lock Shop, weekday mornings at 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Looking for flooring? Paramount Flooring has it all. Sales, service, and expert installation with options for every style and budget. Open 7 days a week. We've got you covered. Quick delivery and in-stock deals. Plus, EST listeners get 10% off. Visit ParamountFlooring.ca today.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
Get ready for a feast like no other. 40-ounce steak night is back this November at the Canadian Brewhouse. Sink your teeth into a hand-cut 40-ounce ribeye with all the fixins for just $49.99. Tickets available now in store or at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson here, and we're excited to be partnering up with the Nielsen Show and have a special deal exclusive for Nielsen Show listeners. Get 10% off any new Trane furnace, air conditioner, or heat pump installation from now until the end of October. Bundle a furnace with an AC or heat pump and get 25% off the package price. Get your home comfort now for all seasons with Weiss Johnson and Trane. Trane, it's hard to stop a train. Visit wjsportstalk.com today.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
Welcome back to the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne and guest co-host Jed Roberts. A reminder that Edmonton Sports Talk is presented by Play Alberta, where it's time to turn up the fun with the all-new Play Alberta app. Your digital destination for casino, live dealers, lottery, instants, and of course, sports betting. Play smart, play local, and don't forget to use your game sense. Rob from the Grove, congrats on winning. And get this, because as all of you know, well, if you don't, I'm about to tell you, Edmonton Sports Talk will be on location tomorrow from 11 to 6. So that's going to be the Lock Shop, Two Guys and a Goalie, EST Afternoons, the Reid Wilkins Show will all be on live on location at the BP's in Devon. And that is in support of Ben Stelter Day. So come by, say hi. Rob from the Grove let me know that he's going to come by and get his GC in person tomorrow.
Nice.
At Devon. So come on by. It's all in support of a great cause. Look forward to seeing as many of you as possible. But for now, it is time to get into buying or selling for Damon Bunting, who has been a consistent top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out on damonbunting.com or the Instagram handle of Damon Bunting Real Estate. Oilers Sabres still scoreless. The Oilers did kill off a 2-minute high-sticking minor assessed to Matthias Ekholm. Keep your stick down.
Yep.
That was unnecessary. Did not need that. Just kind of complacent. But it seems like the Oilers are, I don't know what it is, but they seem to draw a lot of those style penalties. Just
they do.
An errant stick that doesn't need to be there if you just focused on keeping it a little bit closer to your waist or below, those things wouldn't happen. However, I digress. Jed Roberts is joining us. Thank you for taking time out of your day, Jed. This is fantastic, especially, just on the heels of a Grey Cup that was a fantastic game, but having your perspective, having your insight, given how many years in the league were you? 13 years, right? Mm-hmm. And that's you were telling the Coupe, you have something permanent on your body from your playing days.
At the when we won the Grey Cup in 1993, Larry Ruck, my roommate on the road, and Mike McLean, who had retired the year before, and Glenn Harper, we all went down and got tattoos, Grey Cup tattoos on our body. So I have mine on my lower leg. Larry has his in the same spot, and then Glenn got his like twice as big as we got ours. So he can't be outdone in anything, right? Like if you know anything about Glenn, he's a bit flamboyant that way. But and Mike McLean. So whenever we see each other, we're like, hey, show off your tattoos. Yeah. So
fun fact: Glenn Harper and his wife bought a sectional off of me when I was at Yvonne's Furniture.
Yeah.
Another fun fact: she loves Christmas.
Yes, she does. There's nobody that does Christmas like she does.
I was in awe when we went there because I told Glenn, I'm like, I'd love to, come and deliver it, set it up. What in the furniture business, what you would call the white glove service. And because Glenn Harper's a legend. Yeah. I mean, he was one of the best to do it, and certainly have positive memories of Glenn. But when I went there, it was probably around this time of year.
Yep.
And boy, the decorations were out.
Yep.
And they were in full force. And I said, are you storing this for someone? She's like, no, this is ours. I'm like, well, who puts everything up?
She does.
I do. Glenn's like, yep. Just leave her alone and say, hey, here you go. Knock your socks off.
Lisa Harper. She's amazing. We call her Big Red, because she's got red hair. And
yes.
There's nobody in this city that does Christmas quite like she does. She, the day after Remembrance Day, they just get it all fired up. And she's actually a year-round Christmas aficionado. Like we joke, every year right around the middle of July there, she'll say, it's only 6 months until Christmas. And I'm like, man.
She's the person that knows it down to the second as to when.
She's got a countdown clock that starts the day after Christmas till next Christmas. She just loves Christmas. So
well, I must admit, my daughters got the best of me. Because normally around our house, we wouldn't have anything, maybe the end of November, early December. But boy, just over the weekend here, I was gone and I came home and it's Christmas in our house.
That's awesome.
So I don't mind it. I love Christmas. Christmas is my favorite time of the year and it's not even close. So
mine too. I made my mother hide the presents and bring them out in the middle of the night, even when I was 22 years old, coming back from college.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, like don't put the Christmas presents under there. I don't want to know like how many we're getting until like I come out the next morning.
Yeah,
my mom is like, "Are you for real?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like so,
it's nice to be surprised in life, right?
Yeah.
My youngest daughter has handwritten a 5-page Christmas wish list.
Nice.
And I said, look.
5 pages?
5 pages, Chad. Like, I told her, I said, Santa's got to watch the weight, like Donner and Dasher and Rudolph.
That's amazing.
They can only work so hard, so you got to take it easy on Santa. Yeah. But she loves it, and I love that they love it. So happy, everybody. Happy dad. Look, this is buying or selling for Damon Bunting Real Estate. Jed, I've got a major beef.
Yeah.
And you can tell me I'm incredibly wrong and I should reassess my thinking. But I've said this since I've had this platform, people that, have followed the Green and Gold Kickoff Show with Matthew Awanek and myself know that I hate when on short yardage, a player comes into the game that has not touched the ball once, and you're asking them to take a snap from a center. That's one thing. Now, I get it. Tommy Stevens, Chris Streveler, they've kind of become to carve a career out of that.
Yeah.
But here's the problem I have, is that you have a running back in Stevie Scott who was averaging over 5 yards per carry. You then ask Shea Patterson to come in, and they were on the 2-yard line. Instead of just burying your nose in your center's thighs, you're in between your center and your guard, and just driving forward, he decides to take it outside. And that is dangerous. That is trouble zone. Because guess what happens? Great play by the Saskatchewan defender.
Yeah.
He blows up the tight end. Boom. Shea Patterson's not used to absorbing contact. Right? Stevie Scott, that would be like, he wouldn't even feel that.
He'd spin off of it.
Yeah, the ball wouldn't come out. The second that play got blown up, ball's on the ground, and that was, as you said, the turning point of that game.
Yeah, that lost the game for Montreal. Totally agree with you.
So why has it become the norm, Jed, that these teams put these second string, sometimes third string quarterbacks in these situations and trust them to get some of the hardest fought yards in football?
Yeah, well, it's a calculated gamble. You know, I can kind of see it from Jason's perspective, Jason Moss, in terms of Davis Alexander's hamstring being nicked up. You didn't want him to have to push off on it. I don't know if that had anything to do with the factoring into his decision to have the backup start taking those reps. I know if you look on the statistics, I think Shea has the most rushing touchdowns on that team. So obviously they've been doing it for a while. But I agree with you. You know, I don't really like that, limiting your playbook by bringing your backup guy in. Everybody knows what you're going to do, you know, so you just kind of coach your defensive lineup. You can take away those gaps and you can create those mismatches like you saw on the edge there where the guy got blown up and Shea's trying to put the ball out and it gets hit. And then, boom, that's the game. So
I've even went as far as to say, Jed, I don't even like short yardage formations.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like, what the hell are you bringing more people into the box for? Get them out.
Yep.
You know, I would even say spread your O-linemen out. Make make the defense adapt to what you're doing. And if you spread that out, then you can't have the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th defender inside the box, in between the tackles, which is another body you have to move. I've just never understood, why do you not just play it like a regular down?
Yeah.
And have it calculated so that you know you're going to overload, you're going to pull a guard, backside and overload the right side of the O-line and outmatch them. Yeah. I've never understood it.
And you go from being an RPO team to like being a leverage, on the goal line there. And I agree with you. But, I think that in Montreal's case, it was kind of more about preserving Davis Alexander's injury, but I see other teams in the league doing it. Winnipeg historically went with Strevler, and that's part of the game now. Unfortunately, the tush push and all that. It's just this big movement to do this leverage thing on the goal line. And I think that as often as you get successful results out of it, I think you do see your fair share of turnovers, and we certainly turned the tide of the game last night, unfortunately.
Well, and personally, on a side note, I made Jay's play of the day with Play Alberta on Friday, which I dove into this thing, Jed. I had a read on this. Like, it was strong. I felt like a Jedi. I took the first half under because CFL, the Grey Cups, have a history of being a slow start.
Yep.
A slow burn, feeling out period, offensive coordinators feeling out the defenses. But then in the second half, boom, fireworks. And so I had the first half under, the total game over, and a Saskatchewan win. And if that, yeah, I know, I surprise myself sometimes too. But if Jay Patterson gets in there, it doesn't jeopardize Saskatchewan winning. At least in my opinion, I think they had control of that game, but it would have got the total 48 or 45 over points. So I was a little bit robbed. So I felt, maybe that's why I'm so hard on Jay Patterson. Secondly, the CFL has always been referred to as a what league? A blank league. What would you say?
Stepchild to the NFL league.
Yeah. But I mean, passing league.
Yeah, passing league for sure. Absolutely.
Would you say
finesse league? Yeah.
Would you say that moniker is changing, is evolving? Do you think the CFL is now up? I mean, any football league professionally is going to be passing.
Yep.
Okay. But do you think there's a little bit more of a room to wiggle in there as a running game league as well?
Yeah.
When you see, AJ Ouellette led them past BC in the West Final.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just saw what he did in that game. 17 carries, 83 yards, a touchdown. But that allows an offensive coordinator to control the game.
Yeah. And it also, from a defensive perspective, if you have a running back that's running the ball like that, you have to respect that and you have to bring people down, like we were talking about goal line, bringing people into the box. But you do that by choice when you're on goal line. But now when you've got a running back that's just pounding it down your defense, right into the jaws of your defense, you have to bring extra bodies in to account for that. And then that opens up the passing game. So it's like this big, tug of war. And I think that Saskatchewan, and everybody knows, like when you look at historically, like the teams that have won in the Grey Cup, they've usually won behind the strength of a good running game, like Andrew Harris in Winnipeg. He put on a show, man. I didn't realize he was that fast. Those jump cuts were incredible. And we were blessed with really good weather, but it was pretty chilly. Mm-hmm. And the running game is always a factor. It's two distinct seasons in the CFL, in the summer and then the winter, because the weather conditions favor the running game. And I always found that the team that runs the ball with authority, more often than not, wins the Grey Cup. So,
and how good is that? I mean, when you think of offensive linemen, you look at, each team's group of 5, sometimes 6 old linemen, and you say, there's not really that much variance. These guys are all professional offensive linemen. But, I mean, does that Saskatchewan O-line just take
that
the cake?
Right side in particular? They're all CFL, and they're, Montreal's got a pretty good O-line, but Saskatchewan's offensive line, particularly on their right side, and that's where Wallet was getting his money. Mm-hmm. He hit the middle of and then he jump cut to the right, and bang, he bet 10, 12, and he was breaking off big chunks. And that's demoralizing for a defense, especially when you're trying to come back. I thought that Montreal did a pretty good job of forcing Saskatchewan into some 2-and-outs there at the end to make things interesting. But when they needed it, Wallet delivered. So
how hard is it because you were on the defensive line, when a team is running downhill on you, how hard is it to cauterize and stop the bleeding?
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because when you've got a team that's starting to feel themselves, when they're pounding the rock on you. I remember Philpott's dad, Corey Philpott, when he was in BC, they had a couple games where they came into our stadium and they just rammed it down our throats, and we were powerless. We couldn't stop it. And they won those games. When you get teams that can run the ball like that, they more often than not they win those games. And it's just a demoralizing feeling having big guys just impose their will on you and then work their way up to the second level to the linebackers, which is what was happening yesterday. Like, the linebackers couldn't get there because the linemen were doing such a good job of combo, 2 guys on one, and then working up to the second level. And then Wallet wouldn't see really any contact until he got maybe 7-8 yards downfield. And if that's happening, you're in pretty big trouble there as a defense. So,
earlier in Grey Cup week, Stuart Johnston, the commissioner of the CFL, had a press conference announcing some of the next stages of growth for the CFL. And there's one major point I think that is probably going to carry the most weight. But he did mention, because when these rule changes came out, or the field changes, the changes to the Rouge, when he was asked at that press conference, this was months ago, when he was asked about, is this just the first steps in going to 4-down football? His answer at that point was, I'll never say never, pretty much I'll never say never. I'm paraphrasing what he said. But that was sure not received well.
No.
And he actually, and kudos to him, for having the stones to say this league needs to make some changes that I think will be better for the league. I don't know how they're going to work out. No, you don't know. Nobody really knows. But at least there's somebody that's not afraid to take a chance. Mm-hmm. Secondly, he came out and publicly apologized for the way that statement came across, and said this league will be 3 downs forever, 12 men on the field, motion, 65 yards wide. What do you think of, how would you assess Commissioner Johnston, in the first year of his job here?
Yeah, I think he learned some pretty tough lessons. I think he learned that there's some real diehard, purist aficionados out there that are not afraid to let let the world know how they feel from behind their keyboards, or whether at the games booing and whatever. I think that probably one of the loudest ovations, and it wasn't a great ovation, was for him when he was at the coin toss. Yeah. And they weren't saying Stu, they were saying something else.
It's funny. I found the same way about Prime Minister Carney. His name seemed to rhyme with Stu as well. The way he was reacted to.
So they both got similar receptions. But to your point, he said something interesting. He said, when I answered that question that day, I replied to it like I was replying to my kids. Whenever I say to my kids, there's no guarantees in life. He'd probably be wise to remember that we're not your kids. We're the viewing audience, right? Yes. And the game is the game because of certain quirks. And one of them is the 12-man roster. It's a 12 men per the side, the 3 downs, and the width of the field. Those are non-starters, right? Like if you want to mess around a little bit with the length, I think that it's not the end of the world. Moving the goalposts will change things in terms of talking about goal line. Quarterbacks will be able to throw the ball a little bit more in the middle of the field because I don't know. I think it was a Grey Cup game a couple of years ago where a guy hit the goalpost there. Yeah. And it really impacted the game. So there are certain changes that once they're implemented will completely cosmetically will change a lot of things in terms of like how people call the plays, particularly in the red zone with the goalposts being moved. But I think at the core, at its essence, it's all about the 3 downs. It's all about the width of the field because the way the game is played. And I think that, when we talk about, I was trying to be funny when I said that the CFL was a step cousin to the NFL. But if you know anything about the strategy and the way the game's played now in the NFL, they're using the same type of RPO concepts that Doug Flutie was using in 1992, 1993. Yep. And I think Chip Kelly even came up here to learn how Calgary and Toronto were running their RPOs. And it all started with Damon Allen in 1993 doing the Sally Rand and just forcing that end crashing down to respect the fact that he could run the ball so he couldn't crash down. And a lot of those concepts were passed down from this league because we can do things up here with the unlimited motion and all those things that really, and if you look at Miami now, Mike Daniel, whatever, is running that unconventional motion, which really like they were calling flags on it because it just looks so Canadian, and teams are like, wow. And so now everybody's imitating it, So a lot of those wrinkles that you see in with the dual threat quarterbacks. Yep. For one thing, Warren Moon started all of that, way back when. Conrad Holloway, J.C. Watt, we got Jack Parker. Like we've been doing that since the 50s, right? So a lot of the wrinkles, a lot of the innovation that we see up here, we're spoiled because we get to see this version of football. It's like fast break football. And but again, I always go back to that point. Like in the summertime, that's what you see. But in the winter, in the fall, I mockingly say it's winter. But when it comes time to all the marbles, you got to have a running game, and that's when you start to see the game change, and it's called a little bit differently, and the conditions change, and it's a little bit more favorable to running the ball down somebody's throat to impose your will, and that's that's just the way the game's played up here. But The version that we see up here in the Canadian Football League is the best version of football, hands down. Anybody will tell you that. All the coaches that watch the game from down there, they come up here and they go, man, I wish we could do that. And well, why can't you do that? So teams are starting to do that. Mahomes and stuff. Those guys are Josh Allen. Those guys are playing the style of football that Flutie was playing in the 90s.
Well, Jed, that is exactly the reason we have to have you in studio because your insight and your knowledge of the game and the history of the game, it speaks for itself. The Oilers took another errant high sticking penalty, Connor McDavid this time, and with 57 seconds left in the first period, Noah Ostlund has put the Buffalo Sabres up 1-0. The period is now over, and this show's almost over. We have one more segment left. Coob is going to give Jed and I words of the day. So I'll explain all that after. You don't have to worry too much about it. It's a fun little thing we do for Edmonton Public Library. A reminder that Jed has been joining us courtesy of Oil Country Towing, Edmonton's most trusted 24/7 roadside rescue team, fast, safe, and reliable for over 15 years. Whether it's game day or a snowstorm, we work as hard as your favorite team to get you going. Call 780-986-6088 for all your towing needs. We're going to be back with the final segment of the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne and guest host Jed Roberts right after the coup.
In the first intermission, the Oilers trailed the Sabres 1-0. Noah Ostlund with his second of the season on the power play, putting Buffalo on the board. And there's 4 other games live. Near the end of the first, Boston and Carolina are notched at 0s, while the Canucks and Panthers are tied at 2. Seth Jones tying up the game there in the first intermission. We have 2 other games live as well. It's the Capitals leading 1-0 over the Kings, as the Canadians and Blue Jackets are just getting underway. In the CFL, the Bombers have re-upped general manager Kyle Walters and head coach Mike O'Shea, each to 3-year extensions. In NFL news, Jamar Chase has been suspended for 1 game without pay after spitting on Jalen Ramsey of the Steelers yesterday. Monday Night Football, it's the Cowboys and Raiders kicking off. Join Lieutenant Eric for the game at Selly Sports Barn Lounge at Century Casino on Fort Road. That one gets going at 6:15. And in San Antonio, Victor Wembanyama of the Spurs is expected to miss a few weeks with a calf strain, according to ESPN's Shams Charania. On the court right now, there's 4 games underway. And in just a moment, the Raptors and Hornets get underway around the league. It's the Pacers down 32-21 against the Pistons early in the second. We also have the Knicks up 10-4 on the Heat early in the first. The words of the day for the Edmonton Public Library next on The Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Luke Gazdick.
After about 8 minutes into the second period, Rick Tocchet threw his 4th line out there. They were running around like crazy. Then Sealer hits McDavid. The whole tone of the game changed after that. The Oil had no pushback for them. And this is the Philadelphia Flyers. This isn't the Florida Panthers, right? I thought Philly took over the game. And from then on in, it was just about surviving for the Oil.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
When you cater with Royal Pizza, you're getting the same great pizzas, pastas, and salads you love, just bigger and built for a crowd. Perfect for teams, offices, or parties, Royal Pizza's catering brings real value around $10 per person. Delicious, high quality, and easy. If you like their pastas, you'll love their catering pastas even more. Visit royalpizza.ca or contact your local store for exact pricing and details.
So come on home, Royal Pizza, still making it great.
At Firehouse Subs, our subs are freshly toasted, stacked high, and crafted to satisfy. Each sub is piled high with premium meats, melty cheese, and toasted to perfection. Firehouse Subs brings bold flavor to every bite, all served on a freshly toasted roll. But we're not just feeding Edmonton, we're fueling it. Dig into the brisket hat trick, piled with slow-smoked brisket and melty cheese. Or go to the Firehouse Subs fan favorite, the Hook and Ladder. Made to order with smoked turkey, honey ham, and Monterey Jack cheese on a perfectly toasted roll. With 15 Firehouse Sub locations across Edmonton and the greater area, it's easy to grab a hot and hearty sub close to home. Firehouse Subs. Hot, hearty, made to satisfy.
When gambling, set a budget before you play. Stay informed and visit GameSenseAB.ca to learn how. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
The River Cree Resort and Casino features the best in live entertainment, including international U2 tribute band, Desire, November 14th. Performing decades of U2's greatest hits, it's Desire, November 14th at the River Cree. Tickets for this show and more at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Welcome back to the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne and guest co-host live in studio, Double E alum and legend, I must say, Jed Roberts. We are about to get to the word of the day for Edmonton Public Libraries, but before we do, a couple things here. If you are watching on YouTube, hammer that thumbs up. We always appreciate that. And whether you're listening on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the TuneIn or iHeart apps, we appreciate your listenership, viewership, and friendship. That is what keeps the lights on around here. So thank you all for listening. Jed, in the break, I mentioned I gave him a piece of paper, I gave him a pen, and I said, hey, you got to spell the words of the day. And I didn't know that we have a spelling aficionado on our hands. Jed Roberts, what say you?
Yes, sir. I won the spelling bee in my school when I was in grade 6 in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, down in the States. And then I went to districts, but I didn't fare quite as well as the districts. But I just blamed it on my lack of hering.
Sorry,
I didn't know the word.
I couldn't hear the word. What am I going to do? Jed, do you remember the word that caught you?
Tell you, but I will say that it was a word that I thought I knew, and I don't know. So
maybe you were a little overconfident.
Yeah, I was very much. Yeah. I thought, I got this in the bag, and bang, they got me on the first word.
This is easy.
Yeah.
Fun fact before we get to the EPL words of the day: Saskatchewan, the province of Saskatchewan, can make it a Canadian three-peat. Okay.
Yep.
Saskatchewan Roughriders obviously won the Grey Cup last night. The Saskatoon Hilltops won the CJFL, the Canadian Junior Football League Championship, when they won last weekend over the Okanagan Sun. And guess what's coming up next?
I know. It's going to be a good one.
The Saskatchewan Huskies, love them or hate them, are in the Vanier Cup, where they will be, and you know what city's hosting that?
Yep.
Regina. So it's going to be a major home field advantage as the U of S Huskies take on the Montreal Carabins.
Mm-hmm.
We both have a tie to the Saskatchewan Huskies,
yes,
and
we do.
A man named Jerry Friesen.
Yeah, Coach Friesen was the head guy when we were both there. I was coaching and you were playing.
Yeah. So Jerry Friesen, I've reached out to Coach. I would like to get him on our show.
Oh, he'd be awesome.
Prior to, I think Reid would probably ask him some questions about how much of a pain in the ass I was as
He's
a player.
Probably had some great stories about you.
He probably would because I didn't do a lot. I showed up and I played.
Oh, hey, viewing audience down here, don't let him sandbag you. This guy was the hardest hitting safety I've ever seen in the CIS level. He wouldn't be allowed to play now because he was a headhunter and the game was different and he played it the way it needed to be played. I remember he had the most beautiful hit against Simon Fraser.
Yeah, we play it on the show from time to time.
I still think about that hit. Like sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and go, Jay, you killed him.
Yeah, we had to do a pulse check on that young man.
Oh my goodness, that was a great hit.
I believe that was the last time he stepped foot on a football field. So I'm sorry to whoever you are.
Yeah.
I still love you.
But you should have known better when you went across the middle.
Just don't come across the middle.
Just don't go there.
Tell J.R. Davies, Simon Fraser quarterback, not to leave you out to dry.
He did. He hung him out to dry.
Because that was a bad decision. Okay, it is time to get to the words of the day presented by Edmonton Public Library, where Edmonton Public Library's Cooking for a Cause program allows private groups of up to 36 people to have an interactive cooking experience with a chef in the kitchen at the Stanley A. Milner Library. Visit epl.ca/cooking for a cause or simply Google EPL Cooking for a Cause and get more information or how to book your party. Okay, it is time for Words of the Day.
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they got to say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it? Then you know what I'm saying.
Coob, take it away.
Yeah, for some reason, I always trouble myself trying to get these words. Like, I pick hard to pronounce words.
Okay.
But I think I've got it this time. I've listened to it probably 100 times during the breaks and throughout the show just to make sure I can pronounce it right. So your first word of the day is ignominious. 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 Ignominious.
Well, Jed, that's what I came up with there. How close is that to yours?
You and I both spelled it the same way.
Oh my gosh, look at that. We did. Except you have an O there where I have an I.
Oh.
Ignominious or ignominious?
Ignominious.
Okay, Jed, take it away. I think yours is the one then.
IGNOMINIOUS.
Correct.
Oh,
yeah,
baby.
Let's go.
One for one.
Champ, baby.
There we go.
Tennessee.
1 for 1.
Now, I would wonder if this has to do with what's the name of a rock that is
Yeah. Igneous.
Igneous.
An igneous rock.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I would have to think that this word has some. Now, if I'm being honest, I don't know what an igneous rock is. I wish I had one of my daughters here. That would be right in their wheelhouse.
Igneous rock is rock that was at one time maybe volcanic.
Volcanic, maybe.
I think that's what it might be. Yeah.
And it dried.
Well,
would you like a sentence? You might like. You might like.
Okay, we need a sentence. Yes, go ahead.
The party risked ignominious defeat.
Is this something ignominious? Is this something that is inevitable? Or
ignominious means
supposed to happen?
It's when you're
it's tough.
like a known, but in a bad way. Like it's not a.
Go ahead. You give us
the second one is closer, so it's deserving or causing public disgrace or shame.
There you go.
Okay, so we were directionally right.
Yeah.
1.25?
Yeah, 1.25. So
Yeah,
2.25.
Yes.
Out of.
Well, I spelled it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. You get the one for spelling it. 1.25 out of 2.
out of 2. Now we are out of time, Coop. So
Okay,
we
that's
got to
fine.
run. That was a great word, though, by the way.
was
I
awesome.
want you to hold on to the second word that you got, and we'll use it tomorrow when Reid and I are live on location.
It's a good
I
one.
think you would have got me too with the second one.
Jed,
that was a good one. You came hard. That was a good one.
thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We appreciate your insight. We appreciate you being here. You are a Reid Wilkins Show favorite by a mile. So we appreciate that. Listen, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for being here. A reminder, we are on location tomorrow. The whole EST family will be on location at BP's in Devon from 11 a.m. till the end of the Reid Wilkins Show, which is 6 p.m. Come by, say hi. It's all in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation. So come and say hi to Coob. No, not to Coob. To me, to Reid, to Dusty, whoever you want. Look, this was great. Thank you very much. On behalf of Zachary Kubish, Jed Roberts, and myself, Jay Milne, have a great night. We'll talk to you later.